like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.
Trigger warning, this video has no visuals today. I'm the visual. But before I start, I wanted to give a warning to anyone who may follow this video or see this video that is monetized about some of the policies I saw on the YouTube guidelines that they might not know, because a lot of the things that get people demonetized that's listed are videos that I see a lot of. Never mind. I don't feel like looking for it. Anyways, so what happens when you get everything you said you wanted and you still feel empty? Not empty because you're broke, not empty because you're ungrateful or because you do not understand the blessing. I mean the quiet kind of empty where the dream finally shows up, but the peace does not. I've been there a few times and I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people spend years telling themselves, once I get there, I'll be good. Once I get the money, I'll be good. When I get the house, when I get the relationship, once I get the body, career, followers, business, car, validation, respect, then I'll finally feel like I made it. And then they arrive and then something happens. The mind quietly says, okay, now what? That is where a lot of people panic, because the goal was real, the work, the accomplishment, but the emptiness was also real. And that is a part that no one, we always say no one, that's like cliche now to say, and that's the part that nobody talks about. I wouldn't know what people talk about because I don't listen. Goals are beautiful. Growth is necessary. Wanting better for yourself is not a problem, but there has to be a point where you become mentally and emotionally enough, even while you're still improving. You want more without believing you're not anything right now. You can build more without despising what you already survived. You can chase improvement without running from yourself. Because when a person is driven only by lack, every achievement becomes a short commercial break before the next episode of dissatisfaction. The chase can become a cage. And the scary part is the cage can look successful from the outside. People see the money, house, relationship, job title, car, clothes, online attention, and think they made it. Mama, they made it. But inside, that person may still be tired, anxious, lonely, angry, unfulfilled, and still chasing the next thing because they never learned how to sit inside the life they already built. And that is why a goal cannot be your only source of identity. A goal can improve your circumstance, but it cannot do your inner work for you. A bigger paycheck cannot automatically heal abandonment issues. A better partner cannot automatically fix intimacy wounds. A new body cannot automatically cure shame. A luxury car cannot regulate your nervous system. A bigger house cannot teach you peace. A viral post cannot give you an identity strong enough to survive criticism. And the sad part about it is that a lot of the times when people reach the goals that they were seeking, they tend to feel a sense of safety, like if whatever they was running from initially is no longer with them. Whole while it's just given a new environment to thrive in. And that little brief period of peace you feel after you achieve what you're looking for is while the problem is actually becoming verse to your new environment and is charging his battery and is about to ragtag yourself. So, and let me be clear, money matters. Money can reduce stress, pay bills, create options, help you leave unsafe environments, can give you better food, medical care, therapy, safer housing, transportation, and time. And you could buy friends. People who are users, if you put money, if you lead with money, you're gonna attract them like flies to trash, like outside animals to your food that you dumped out for them to eat, like car salesmen to people with good credit, or lemon salesmen to people with bad credit, like a moth to a flame. So this is not one of those fake deep speeches where we pretend money does not matter. Money absolutely matters, but money is not God. Money is not emotional regulation, character, wisdom, discipline, mental health.
is not automatically a healthy marriage, friendship, habits, or healthy decision making. That is where people get tricked. A person may say, if I had more money, all my problems will be solved. But when you look closer, some struggles are not only financial, some are behavioral, emotional, spiritual, psychological, from not doing anything. Some are from repeated negative action. A person may say, I'm always down because of my money situation. And yes, the money stress may be real, but that person could also be functionally depressed. They could be burnt out. They could be isolated. They could be living in a body that has been surviving on caffeine, anger, alcohol, poor sleep, doom scrolling, and chaos. For y'all, I can't speak, for every poverty-ridden environment in the world, but the one I grew up in, the people who used to verbalize they struggle were the ones who were not really struggling. The people who were actually struggling had so much shame that they would find out about all of the organizations. They used to have this thing called commodity, or at least that's what the people called it. They were illiterate, so it might be the wrong name. But you go there and get like pantry style food and stuff like that. And then they also had different churches, like mega churches back then used to actually send gift cards to people. So they were getting millions, but they was breaking people off around the country. They actually used to buy school supplies and everything. But anyways, so a lot of the people who used to be talking about they need money, they would be saying that so they could use it to buy something they want. It wouldn't be for what they need. Or in the reverse, it would be that they spent the money to buy what they want first, and then they really are begging for the money that they needed because they know that people going to really have sympathy if you say that your electricity going to get cut off and you have people living with you, or you may have a health condition. So it's a whole game. And unfortunately, I've never seen, like for me, I don't see people mention things to this level that I do, because it seems like people try to make every single person in poverty a victim. Like people have to segregate what they're in poverty for. Everyone is not impoverished for the same reasons. Some people are in poverty because they committed crimes years ago that you may not know about because it was from the 80s or 90s, and they record is just so horrible nobody can hire them, or maybe they got out and all their family was in the upper room with whoever they worship. So because they have 1,000 religions plus 1,000 plus religions in this world, so I can't assume people worship. It's 1,000 plus gods out there, and different stories for creation and illumination and divination, precipitation, aggravation, toleration, and this dancery. But I'll just get back to this. People become instantly elevated and then recklessly lose everything they always wish for. Somebody wins millions and loses it. Somebody becomes famous and crashes out. Somebody finally gets a good partner and sabotages it. Somebody becomes rich out of boredom, develops gambling habits, drug use, reckless behavior, or sinister activities that give them a rush. The bad part about gambling and every other addictive legal thing we have out there, I don't know what, but gambling and all of the other legal addictive things we have out there, if you haven't noticed, they target the people who they know they freaking freak. This camera needs to stop moving with me. Stop it. Oh, high tech stuff, artist stuff, but they know the type of people who are more prone to fall victim to their schemes. So they set themselves up in those places. If you notice, where like if you've ever taken a road trip, you see casinos in the strangest places. And then with all of the other addictions that are legal, they pay a lot of celebrities to and music people to represent that in songs. So the aftershock of that is that you end up having teenagers wanting to access the stuff that they hear about in songs, and a lot of them gain access to it because another thing people don't admit, there are a lot of communities where there arrested developed men and women that are hanging around children and want to be down so bad with the children because they still frozen in the lame high school life they had, and hanging around high school age children is they second chance in life. Lord, woohoo, we got another one, master, yay! Looking at it. And so that's how kids get access to this stuff too. So the fact that there are ads out here for all of these addictive things, it impacts people, and it tends to impact in people who are down on money more because it gives them hope of making more money. That's why they are extending the lottery to the United Kingdom, because they see how it happened here. Now they want to see what they do in the UK. Like, are you going to be a gambler? Oh no, you're gambling from the United States. I cannot believe that, Charlie. Can you believe he's gambling over here? No, he's not gambling over here. Anyways, so that is why inner life matters. Some people go from grinding 24 hours a day to the grind absolutely ending and abruptly ending, and they do not know who they are without pressure. The silence becomes uncomfortable. The peace feels unfamiliar. So they create a new chaos just to feel alive again. I can relate to that from the aspect of having injuries and going from having a hectic work schedule and being Mr. Overtime and Mr. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 jobs and all this other stuff to being shut completely down for however long the recovery time is. And even if I was able to have a comfortable recovery, mentally, my brain was trained to have tasks to do. And then during my off times, I will always be catching up on personal life things. So it was always a wheel. You know, I was a hamster. Probably was built like one too. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to post the pictures for y'all one day if I ever, if this ever becomes a safe space, because the internet is a jungle and I'm a bear, so I try to be out the way so I don't have to claw you, and maul you. So anyways, and that is why inner life matters, because whatever is already inside of you gets amplified. That's how we see projection in people. That is why everyone now, thanks to social media, you can see examples of people attacking behaviors that they themselves actively display as if it's removed from them. And that's projection. Or when people have secret identities and they feel so much guilt about that identity that they make it their identity to destroy the people who publicly like that. And it's not necessarily that they consciously look at them and say, oh, I'm so jealous of them. And that applies to so many different communities. Your brain probably went to whatever one you think about the most, because mine didn't go anywhere. It's a lot of space in here. But so when it comes to all of that, like, people really give themselves away if you really pay attention to them. That is why the most successful celebrities are successful as long as they shut the hell up. Soon as they start talking more, y'all, they never gonna last. People liking you is very temporary. It's very roller coaster-ish because it'll feel like it's forever while you like them. Because I've definitely witnessed being liked and loved according to the people, and then these people can just switch, and it's like I'm Abel and Cain, or whoever was the one that the other one, conked in the head or whatever. Like it turns like that. So I've seen it in real time, and it really winds your mind, because for me, if I love a person, it takes a lot, and I'm willing to work through a lot, and I'll address a lot to work through whatever is bothering me, let alone become arch enemies with them. And then it's just like a whole, like a pew, pew, pew. And then it's like, dang, but yeah, it'd be like that sometimes though. I laugh at everything. So it was always funny to me. And then for me, I've never been one to go back and forth with people. If we fell out, I'm secretly heartbroken by it. So the last thing I'm going to do is further engage with you, knowing that this is an engagement of destruction. This is not an engagement of repair. And then that's going to further damage the fact that my brain always think about good memories of people. And so That's all I'm thinking. And I don't want the ending of those good memories to be arguments. But for whatever reason, some people, it's like they have a switch in them, and maybe that might have been something set up in childhood, or they might have inherited from their parental units or whatever, their brain registered as parental units, and they're mimicking that. But I don't want no parts in that, because I believe in what I say. Like, I actually know how love feels. So I'm not one to just be giving away hate for free. Like, I charge for hate. Like, my hate costs a lot. And I always, anyways, back to the story. If you were wise, money may give your wisdom more reach. If you were generous with boundaries, money may allow you to support people in healthy ways. But if you were reckless, money gives recklessness a bigger engine. If you were insecure, fame gives insecurity a microphone. It's too many celebrity examples, past, present, and future, of the fact that insecurity really is something when people are famous. If you were lonely, success may give you more people around you, but not necessarily more love. This is why people need to stop saying, if that were me, I would be different. Everyone says that. Someone wins the lottery and blows the money. It's a lot of them. But on a positive note, they actually have a good amount of people who won the lottery and stayed rich and actually became wealthier. So all hope is not lost. You know, the empire does strike back, but the Jedi always come through. Allegedly, I think, before Disney, at least that's what I last remember. If that were me, I would invest. Someone becomes famous and ruins their reputation. If that were me, I would stay humble. Someone gets exposed for scamming. Man, there's too many scammers out there. I told y'all they was gonna have a field day with society, and it's not getting any better. And they finding ways to get to children now. And then a lot of parents are so distracted with their own phones, they don't realize their children are already being groomed. The word groomed is used so much. I like it when it's used for pets, because pets really be doing their thing when they go to the salon. Like, if they, like a dude getting his hair cut, or, people getting their hair done and stuff. But yeah, when it comes to scammers, they are starting people early, and it's crazy. It really is, because it's like everything, little fires everywhere. And it's stuff that can be done, but talking about it isn't going to do anything. That's why I'm talking about it for y'all, because there's no kids for me to redirect. But for y'all who do have it, get up, put your boots on and all of that. And we could just continue preaching and holding each group accountable and continuing the debate whether the accountability was right or wrong, and then further waste time while neighborhoods further decline. The gentrifiers is up there tap dancing and doing a chicken head and heel toe in the underground bunker, getting ready to pounce on whatever disaster happened wherever. And they had crime before. Oh, baby, jackpot, and people gonna fall for it every time. Some people gonna moan and complain. People gonna get on the internet yelling, we can't live in our neighborhoods no more. But it's like, how did it happen? Now, granted, our forefathers did go through eminent domain where they was just completely removing people. Like, wow, like, but nowadays, yes, some people do suffer for the bad. There is households in these areas that say their prayers every day or do whatever they need to do. They might not even pray, but they still overall good people. They say good morning when they walk in places. They say thank you, which thank you must have left with the people knowing the correct place to put the dollar sign. Like, all of these things are just disappearing with cursive and analog time and everything else, which is fine because change happens. But it just seems like people don't know the things, but the things still exist with us. So it's like, how does that work? I know a sundial hate to see you coming. And then here is the question: in age where one post can make someone famous, where famous people can build businesses from their phone, where tutorials are free, information is everywhere, where people in comment sections seem to know everything everyone else should do, why are all the know-it-alls not on top? My bad. Because knowing what sounds smart in a comment section is not the same as having discipline, emotional control, patience, humility, consistency, and wisdom under pressure. A lot of people do not need more opinions. They need more self-mastery. And social media has made this even more dangerous. Comparison is no longer local. You're not just comparing yourself to people in your neighborhood, your church, job, school, or family. You're comparing yourself to edited lives all over the planet. International. I found out I was international when I actually was trying to take analytics seriously once upon a PTSD, and I'm nationwide and worldwide too. Me and Candy Burris, we worldwide. You are comparing, and the world has over 8 billion people, and billions of them use social media. That means your public wins, losses, humiliation, lifestyle, and public image can be seen, judged, copied, envied, or attacked by people who do not even know you. I will post a picture of a shoebox with my name on it at J New Orleans before I ever post and say that that's my house. Before I ever post a home, a bone alone. Actually, this is a box right now, man. Can you see the cardboard behind me? And the danger is social media does not just show people life. It teaches people what to want, what to be ashamed of, what should count as success, which is so crazy because the system is so twisted. And it probably been twisted. I don't think that's a now thing. Social media just shed light on a lot of behaviors because the fact that people who have small minds don't really elevate and evolve throughout generations. What we're seeing now is just the older generation with technology. If they were younger, it's not anything new. And unfortunately, the kids that are impacted by it, as annoying as some of them may be to society when they actually harm people physically, like they had a 12-year-old involved with a woman having a fatality out here. Rest in peace. Like, seriously, I'm just doing that for YouTube so they don't, because I told y'all about the terms and conditions and the guidelines and the bylines and the thigh lines and the fry lines and Rally's lines and Popeye's lines. You get the car, then the algorithm shows you a jet. You get the apartment, then it shows you the mansion. You get the relationship, then it shows you the stage proposal in Italy with drone footages, violins, and captions about God's timing. You get the body, then it shows you the filter. You get the blessing, then it shows you someone else's highlight reel and convinces you that your real life is not hot enough because it does not have the cinematic lighting. That's like for people, rest in peace to spirit, for when people would travel and then other people would get on social media and ask them what flight, or if the person freely mentioned the flight, or if they took a picture that revealed which airline, people would try to diminish the value of that person traveling. Granted, everyone is so supportive of each other. All men support each other in the brotherhood and the sisterhood and the Black community and Americans and all these little sub communities within communities, Christians and everything. We all love each other. But a lot of people in these groups who identify as these kinds of people, because those same people will be spitting whatever rhetoric they worship, and not even just religiously, but as far as real life, but they treat it religiously online. And these people will be the same people being the negative people to other people. And then y'all end up messing with those IP tracing people. And then when they expose y'all family, which is doxing and illegal, and then y'all get harassed by the internet, y'all crying, but you weren't crying in the comment section because y'all hearts are Black. Like, no matter what race, people hearts, y'all have Black hearts on the internet because y'all are able to so freely be evil to people on their own channel. Like, I get that people do and post dumb stuff, but it's not the person's job to tell them. And then if it's really people that y'all have so much disdain for, y'all do not realize every time you type their name, no matter where you type it, you are furthering them in the algorithm. The algorithm is so thirsty now, it does not care if it's a positive or negative mention. 20 years ago, YouTube used to remove videos for not having enough positive feedback, or if it was stuff like that once. And they actually wanted to take the dislike button away at one point. They used to show the dislike percentage to everyone, and they stopped that because of the fact that it was impacting people mentally. So y'all really got to know what y'all up against. Y'all who use social media, I know y'all purpose may be innocent, but know the beast you playing with. Yeah, it's the same difference as if you have woods by your house and all of a sudden a bunch of animals show up that's known to maul people, and then you build a friendship with them. That's exactly what it is, because when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's bad. Social media really be having people not able to focus and seeing all this negative stuff all day, because whatever your algorithm is going to keep feeding that to you because it wants you to stay online. At one point, social media was freehand, where viral stuff was the stuff that got pushed. But now it don't care if it's viral or not. It just want you to be stuck with it. And for me, I know how it feels because I tested it out on myself, and I saw how easy it was to keep flipping from video to video because the next selection was just so good. It was like a can't pass up thing. But then I realized that watching YouTube is free, but I'm paying with my time, because for every hour I watch YouTube, that's an hour that I gave to the video if I'm just directly watching it and not multi-watching it, like I'm watching it and doing stuff. That's different. I don't consider it the same thing. But like for me, the type of videos that would get me captivated were ones that were visual, because it'll be educational. It'll be something about astronomy, or it'll be something about like changes to the earth or projected flood maps for the future that no one cares about right now. So yeah. And that is digital hypnosis. And one of the biggest flaws people have is wanting the world to know every win, not understand the urge. And that comes from a place of lack, because you want the people to see you as a winner. You don't feel seen as a winner, so you have to prove it. Or it's, and my possibilities are just my view of the world. That's not me making this law of facts, because I am not anyone but someone with a TWIC card and the driver's license. That's the only licenses I have. I've experienced University of Phoenix, but I did not go for a doctorate, and I never mind. I ain't gonna do that. Sometimes you want to inspire people. Sometimes you want the people who doubted you to see that you made it. But every win does not need a press release. A public win can attract private problems. Jealousy. I still get jealous. I wish I would hit that note. That would have been fire. Like, I still get jealous. Ooh, my throat dry. That's why. My bad, y'all. I failed y'all today. I'm sorry. I was rolling in the deep earlier, so this is before my shower. So that's how you know consistency is with bro. Fake friends, scammers, people asking for money, people stuttering your weaknesses, people trying to reconnect because your life looks so useful now. People who do not want your success, they want access to it. And when your identity depends on being seen winning, you can become a prisoner to applause. You start making choices for optics. You buy things so people can see you bought them. And that's very expensive. That's a budget that has no cap, but then your pockets have a cap. And then, some people prematurely get good credit before they actually get financial literacy. And once they get a high credit score, which is a awesome achievement, especially for someone who is moving up, and it took dedication. But the trap is credit is kind of like social media. It's another beast. You got to know how to pet the beast. Like when you petting animals, certain animals don't want to be touched in certain places, and you get consequences. In case y'all didn't know, I mean, a lot of people be neglecting pets around here, so I can't assume the world is like that, but I can't assume based off the ratio. Never mind. Anyways, yeah, if you pet the pet in the wrong way, you're gonna have a wrong day. You announce growth before the roots are strong enough to survive the weather. Some winds need to be protected before they are presented. And while all of this chasing is happening, a lot of people are ignoring their bodies, minds, signs. And the thing about it that's spooky too, some people unknowingly have a family inherited starter pack to where it's so many people in their family and in their community that neglect the same exact things that in their reality, because our reality is based off what we believe. That's why when people say things that attack other people's beliefs, or people feel attacked for their beliefs because it makes them question it, it hits because that's a part of your reality. That's why when people change religions, or when people leave or join religions, it's a life-changing thing for them, because like when you think about everything you believe, or anything you ever heard somebody say about something you believe and it hurt you or it made you angry, that's your reality. And that's why when people tell people to think positive, that's the long story short of the whole spiel and TED talk about how thinking impacts your reality. But it's not just thinking like I'm having a thought right now, or I'm thinking about having a good future. It's not that. Thinking is way deeper than most people realize, especially if they don't think. If your mouth and your thoughts is talking point city, I have bad news for you, babe. I'm not a doctor though, so I can't give it to you. Ha ha ha. Go get therapy. And that's not a dig. Word to Stefan. They call it ups and downs. They call it just one of these days. They joke about not wanting to get out of bed. They laugh about being tired of life, which is spooky, because for me, social media, especially in my younger years where I really was not aware of the beast that it was turning into, because at one point social media was a cub and a puppy and a kitten for a second. It was innocent for a while. Like, but for me to see from people tweeting that and posting that and then them exiting stage heaven, or my bad, but stage afterlife, I don't really play with people playing with statements or references or implying that they're going to end their game. Like, that's not cool for them to play with. But for me, I don't explain stuff. I just make notes, because when you explain to people, you teach them how to manipulate you. Because if you telling them how you operate, they're going to use that and think about things before they do things, especially if they're trying to manipulate something. They make viral videos about rotting in bed. They say adulting is hard. No, actually, again, not a doctor here, but when you have constant complaints about regular adult activities, that may mean, I don't know, but that may mean that you may be underdeveloped in certain areas. And that hits home for a lot of people, especially for people who may have had lovers use their flaws against them, or especially if people had people who they saw as caregivers using their flaws against them. That is not something that person is going to be able to sit with. That's why I always recommend therapy, because the people, and they have all forms of therapy for people who have all kinds of beliefs, every belief out there. Even if you believe in doing a chicken head in the chicken coop with some chickens to make it hatch a golden egg, there is some form of therapy that your belief connects to, that works for people, that people who are leaders in whatever your community is probably refer to. That's how they're able to be an effective leader for people that are effective leaders, and things like that. And yes, life is hard, but randomly not wanting to do daily duties for long stretches is not something to romanticize. And also, if you lacking on cleaning your house, please stop inviting people to your house. And this is not me trying to plant seeds of paranoia. I'm just telling you facts. Like, if you're someone who is unaware of yourself, more than likely you may have compromised connections in your life of people who don't fully share your same view of how friendship should go, or how people's business should go. Maybe you gossip just like they do, but you have a filter on personal stuff. You may have a boundary on secrets. You may have a boundary on certain things. Everyone does not do that. And what ends up happening is, when you're unaware and you're doing all of these different things, negative views, points of yourself, always making complaints about having to do stuff that is a part of adulthood, and romanticizing about childhood again, which is never coming back. Like, imagine if animals did like we did. Like, if all of the animals just missed when it was just hatched. Like, But anyways, so it's not that the people are spies from Spy Kids, fully grown, where are they now? And they infiltrated your life. It just happens, like us as humans, our traits mix with each other. If you're an overgiver, you're going to attract the needy. If you're someone who is argumentative, you're going to attract someone without a backbone. You may attract someone who is just as argumentative, and then they're going to test run you and see if they could break you down enough to where they're the alpha like they do dogs. And if that don't work, then y'all end up not being together. Or maybe, so dynamics match. Just think about connections you've had with people, or people that you were trained to love like a puppy, and how it feels awkward because in your heart you really don't have love for them, but you can't ever admit that out loud because you're programmed to love this person because of who they are. Like, you can't not love this person. Like, it's impossible. It is something to investigate. It may be burnout, depression, anxiety, grief, poor sleep, diet, isolation, substance use. It may be the body begging for a different rhythm. Your body is a cell phone on speakerphone, but instead of words, it talks through symptoms: energy, sleep, pain, skin, digestion, mood, cravings, tension, brain fog, irritability, motivation. And what's crazy? They have pills for all of those things. Like, don't fix the problem, just fix the symptom. Just feel better. Like, don't worry about why it keeps happening. Just keep paying us to fix it. When you eat better, sleep better, hydrate, move, breathe, and reduce chaos, the body often says thank you. And you don't need a gym. You can put on music. And if you have any type of exercise recording device, dancing is on there. Dance, like really dance, pretend you in the club. If you one of those people that learn dance moves from videos, this your time to shine, baby. Make a playlist of all of the dance ones or learn them and do it for at least 30 minutes a day. Make sure that your body's in, like, not, don't push past pain or anything like that. That is a lie when people make you feel like you're supposed to be in pain to work out. Like, y'all taking advice from people that use outside assistance for the things they do. So the stuff they telling you didn't even work for them. Like, they need to tell you who their doctor is, or what GLP injection they use and manipulated it, which is fine. But it's like, I used to say I respect people making money as long as they not like hurting people, like crime wise. But I take that back. And that was, and that's growth, because I've been stopped believing that a long time ago, because people really do not care. Like, for me, I could ramp and yamp about flaws people have, but I will never orchestrate anything that could lead to somebody having a fatality from my information knowingly. Like, and the stuff that I see, especially the fitness stuff, man, and it's like, I really hope people just listen to them or use them as a buffer for their motivation that they think go kick in, because it's them people, man. Please, if y'all really want to learn more, like, start researching actual people with verifiable certifications and licenses, and also see if you could do a deep dive, because the beauty in the internet, everyone's past is right there. That's why I don't understand how celebrities be dating people with past, and it's like, most people be wishing they knew about the person they interested in, and people used to have to stalk the internet to know stuff. But if you're dealing with another famous person, their whole history is right there, and then they be acting like they don't know, which they probably don't, but it's entertainment for the world, so it don't even matter. You may feel stronger. You may thinking your thinking may become clear. Your patience may improve. Your skin may change. Your energy may stabilize. But when you neglect yourself, the body tells you that too. Fatigue, low motivation, a short temper. Ooh, there's so many people with short tempers. It's spooky. Constant cravings, poor sleep, inflammation, brain fog, a nervous system that treats every inconvenience like it's a threat. And I notice with these kind of people, they don't like questions. Even if it's a question you have to ask them, like they do not like questions because something about their brain having to come up with original content is like treason to them. And because society benefits from people chasing their tails and throwing money in the air, those body signals often get ignored until someone passes out, disappears emotionally, crashes out publicly. Do not crash out publicly. Like the police no longer need witnesses. The internet footage is 4K. Like, please stop. Like, you don't even have to think before you do. Just don't go places where you know things are gonna happen based off your past. If you know every time you go to Walmart, you get into it with somebody in the parking lot or the cashier steal your change, stop going to Walmart. Because what you're doing, you feeling like you ain't letting no one run you, but all it takes is that one time for that person to hit a home run on your emotional state, and you can end up facing whatever, because there's no telling how far it could go, what could happen. It's literally no scenario you could think of when you constantly put yourselves in situations that frustrate you, things that you could do earlier or later, like you still do it later and then expect a different result when more than likely it's the same people going the same time, because humans unfortunately are creatures of habit. That's why people who do private investigator, they love doing it, because the average person does the same thing every day. That's how cheaters get caught, because they break the pattern. And that's why people who are ultra cheaters, who probably got a degree in cheating, a PhD, pretty hectic deceiver, and so they maintain their patterns and they find a way to maneuver the infidelity within the pattern. But then persons with intuitions who read their partner's emotional and nervous system detect the change in that, and they detect that there is another person interfering with it, because we have all those connections. Science has now proven that it's no conspiracy. So if people make it sound like hoodoo voodoo, word to Erica Badu, then that shows you that you just said that because you felt that way. You didn't verify it to say that it was whatever. Anyways, that is why box breathing is not optional. Inhale for 4 seconds. Like, hold for 4. Exhale for 4. And repeat. And that's something, again, I'm not a doctor, so don't try that at home. It sounds too simple, which is why people underestimate it. But your nervous system needs regular attention. Your mind needs quiet. Your body needs breath. Your spirit needs grounding. But don't use any of them apps. They have a lot of people on there that have very checkered past as far as when it comes to validity. It'll be different if they did stuff in life and they learned from it, and that's what made them elevate to that level. But these people are not even who they are pretending to be. So that means their knowledge may or may not even be accurate, and people taking it as law. Some people get nervous about the word meditation, but let's be honest. Sitting still, breathing, focusing, reflecting, praying quietly, repeating scripture, calming the mind, and getting centered are not automatically zamanic, because I don't really like saying that word. It's used so much, and it's almost like it's to throw mud on people, because it's stated on things that the person using the word have no idea what they're identifying to even call it that. A lot of people have not actually read deeply enough to know the difference between a practice, a posture, and a panic response. The point is not the label. The point is this: you need stillness. Whether you call it prayer, meditation, reflection, mindfulness, breath work, or sitting on the porch with God and a glass of water, do not neglect the practice because the vocabulary makes someone comfortable. I knew someone that used to take shots before church because they said God knew their heart. So it might not be a glass of water, it could be a glass of whatever. This is not a drill. And now that it is springtime, aside from storms, tornadoes, pollen, and the weather occasionally acting like it is auditioning for a disaster movie, this is one of the best times to reset. The air is different. Daylight lasts longer. The weather is more friendly. People can go outside without instantly feeling like they're being cooked in a cast iron skillet. This is the time to sit on your porch, sit in your car somewhere safe with the windows down, walk in a park, visit a lake, go to a farmer's market, go fishing, try a beginner hiking trail. No, do not try that. I am not recommending that. But you could try watching the content about hiking trails. Go bird watching. Join an astronomy club if you like the sky. Join a bike, go biking on a safe trail with a helmet, please. Take your lunch outside. Stretch in your yard. Sit under a tree and let your nervous system remember that the world is bigger than bills, posts, arguments, deadlines, and other people's opinions. Check for ants and bugs too, though. But also, I am not a professional, so these are not recommendations. These are me just reflecting out loud. And everything is unalleged because there's no allegedly to my thoughts. You do not have to turn wellness into a luxury brand. You do not need a $300 outfit to go breathe. And actually, they just showed y'all how much of a joke they take people when they have a watch that they charge people tens of thousands of dollars for having a newborn colorful collection that's, you know, reasonable. They showing you that they can pull and push the strings when they want to. And it's crazy because who's gonna buy it if people not learn their analog time in school? Like, you do not need a retreat to Bali to sit still. You do not need a binged out Stanley Cup with the 5 shots of espresso and a motivational sticker that says CEO energy to drink water. Sometimes healing is free. Sometimes peace is simple. Sometimes the medicine is sunlight, silence, and finally putting the phone down. Also, too, what I find funny is when the high and righteous people online go to countries that already tell everyone that the tourism industry is destroying their country, which is the same equivalent of if a bunch of people publicize moving into gentrified units that the people who got kicked out of got to watch them move in. They would be called all kinds of names. Oh, y'all, we got gentrified and y'all flaunting in our face, but we can go to other countries and do that to people. Like for me, I'm not one that judges what other people do. So I don't care that people go to other countries. But the point of mentioning that is that those same people who have that rhetoric of we shouldn't support people exploiting people or whatever words they use, it's like, did you forget about it when you made it there? Or is that only, oh, your opinion doesn't have a passport? Okay, got it. Okay, gotcha. If you like coloring, try painting. The things that made you feel alive before life got so loud, think about the things that brought you joy when you were younger. If you liked helping in the kitchen, find recipes and put your own twist on them. If you like being outside, try gardening, fishing, hiking, walking, biking, or sitting near water. If you like music, go to a free concert, join a local choir, learn an instrument, or make playlists for different moods. If you like building things, try woodworking, home repair, model kits, sewing, crafting, or a marker space. If you liked helping people, go through unused items and donate to a shelter, school, community closet, or a local organization. And if selling things sounds fun, remember, selling your old items can turn into a part-time customer service job with strangers asking, is this still available? And then disappearing like Batman in the night. So donate if that gives you more peace. If you feel trapped in your current life, find stories of people who overcame something similar. Similar. Accent and braces messing words up. He's illiterate. Not to compare yourself, to borrow hope and practice naming 10 things you already overcame. Not to brag, to remind yourself that you're not starting from nothing. And if you feel like a failure, remember, New Orleans was not built in a day. Matter of fact, some parts of New Orleans look like they're still waiting on a contractor to come back from lunch. So give yourself grace. Progress can be slow and still be real. But while you are giving yourself grace, also tell yourself the truth. If you wish for wealth and your first thought is only what you will buy, you may still be trapped. That does not mean you cannot enjoy nice things. Enjoyment is not the enemy. The problem is when your entire imagination has been colonized by consumption, restaurants, technology, fashion, travel, cars, luxury, status symbols, aesthetic lifestyles, experiences designed more for posting than living. Society has turned wanting into a full-time job. Also, too, I noticed like having jobs right before social media and the aliens or the iPhones allegedly take over. I used to notice that people actually used to actively talk about enjoying spending time with their family or going see different family. And that was like a lot of people conversations for the people who used to talk about what they did over the weekend, which never was me. Either I made something up or didn't answer. But overhearing other people used to actually have excitement about their family. And then it's like once social media came, it's like people started being on this never-ending racehorse of having to go to every event. Not only are you going to concerts, you're going to everyone's birthday dinner, you're going to everyone's wedding, you're going to everyone's baby shower, you're going to everyone's funeral, you're going to everyone's section. And guess what? Every event, you can't wear the same outfit. So that's outfits on outfits on outfits, not to mention, depending on all of the miscellaneous, things that people do, that's another charge. So it's like you have guaranteed money that's always leaving, but the money that's coming in is not always guaranteed. In life, they all know guarantees. Love, take your chances. Experience design more for posting than living. Society has turned wanting into a full-time job, and people are exhausted, just like my mouth dry, from trying to afford identities they do not even truly want. Some people finally wake up and sell the designer items. They sell the extra vehicles. They downsize the house. They stop buying things because the internet said successful people have them. They realized the mansion was not peace. It was maintenance. And also, too, you got to wonder why collecting the lottery doesn't require financial literacy. Why does being in any of the industries that we see people get famous for and get, multi-million dollar deals for, why is therapy never made for them to do, or them not having an on-call therapist? They'll have travel, everything else, but they don't ever have a therapist with them because people are easier to manipulate when their emotions are not in check. That's why there's always a reason for stuff. And that kind of takes the cinematic glow of life away because a lot of people still are living in the cinematic version of reality. That is why when we speak about things that don't match that reality of theirs, it triggers something in them. Like they got to protect the cinematic version. They realized that the luxury car was not freedom. It was higher insurance, tire repairs, and a payment that looked like a second rent. Sometimes it's more than that. They realized they were not building wealth. They were decorating insecurity. The shift happens when you start asking better questions. Do I need this? Do I genuinely want this? Do I want this because I enjoy it? Or do I want this because I need people to see it? And the best thing that they ever did to make money was make people dependent on eating out, because there's reasons for every single person to do every single thing that they do, right? And glide with me because I fly, I don't walk. We tend to we tend to feel like everything we're doing is right. So when we get a negative consequence from it, we feel like it's not fair or how did it happen, versus actually realizing that the whole point of people winning the lottery is for more people to play the lottery. They're playing the long game, and they've even increased the price of it now. So they were playing the long game, like longer than that bridge. over the water Lake Pontchartrain that is famous everywhere for being the longest, whatever words they say, you know the answer. Because if I try to say it, I'm gonna get corrected. I know the internet, baby. So I just fill in the blank. And while we're talking about wealth, let's talk about financial literacy. Wanting wealth without education is dangerous. The best analogy is that wanting money and having access to money and not having financial literacy is the equivalent of putting someone you know who has never driven in their life that you know of in a vehicle for the first time and telling them to drive you for hours. Like, there's so many ways that could end. And that's exactly what it is, not having financial literacy. And the way that everyone that you spend money with wins is that they made you codependent on it. Eating out is normal now because it's such a habit that people don't know how to cook. A lot of people was raised in fast food houses, so they never learn how to cook. And then for the things that they did learn how to cook, is always quick and it's freeze dried, because not freeze dried, but processed, because of the fact that the availability in those areas is limited, because most people don't know that if enough people request items at stores, a store will get it. That's how in Houston, they used to didn't have hot sausage, patent hot sausage. And so many New Orleans people moved out there and was going to the store like, oh, baby, y'all ain't got no hot sausage in here. Oh, no, baby, I got to go to another store. And they got tired of hearing that. And so they was like, hey, man, we about to order that hot sausage for the NO people, bro. We coming down here. Yeah, bro, man, hold up. And then that's when they got it, because people requested it. But anyways, it's like I could make a video about advocating for yourself later. Probably will. It's just all about how we handle things, and they know that people don't. And I really wish that I could make everyone's favorite dessert individually and implant the vitamins of financial literacy in there, because it's not even that you learn everything, but when you learn the basics, that's kind of like when you learn the basics of driving. You know when somebody is on the wrong side of the road. You know what a red light means. You know what all of the signs on the road mean. Some people do, not all, but at least and so but people without financial literacy, there's a lot of money no-nos that are yeses to them. And but see, what happens is a person don't come up to you and say, hey, would you like to be in a pyramid scheme? And then you say, oh no, baby, all I do is triangulate in relationships. I don't do shapes and jobs. No, they don't come to you like that. They come to you saying, hey man, I made all this money. Look at this big old Dodge Ram I have over here. You like these 24s, brother man? And that's how they get you. Financial literacy is not just knowing how to save money. It is understanding debt, interest, credit, taxes, contracts, scams, insurance, investing, budgeting, negotiation, and delayed gratification. And the craziest thing about like financial literacy too is that it's not something that you got to get a book to start learning. You could literally, anytime you think about an aspect of your finances, you can ask a question on the internet that, I know everybody claim to hate AI, but if you use social media, so the algorithm is literally AI. So if y'all so anti-AI, why don't you delete your profiles on social media? YouTube is like television with a comment section, even though, they be trying to keep up with other people, like your neighbor that that used to be trying to keep up with your mama. But yeah, you can always just look up the information in that moment, and that's how you'll learn, especially if it's a repeat situation. That's how I learn things. Like I had one flat tire, I changed it then, and then from there, just changing so many tires, I've changed tires enough to the point, I put that S on my chest and was like, oh, your tire's flat. Do you need help, lad, ma'am? Mama, sir, madam, do you need help with your tire? I'm right here. I'm a helpful person. I'm a good Samaritan. Make sure you take a picture with me so that they know that I was here and I helped you, and post it on your Instagram and say, Jay New Orleans saved my life. Or else. That is how people make bad deals. That is how people get robbed. That is how people think they are investing and end up being scammed. That is how emotions get in the way of the bigger plan. That is how someone can touch hundreds of thousands and even millions and still go broke. And I don't know if y'all know, if all of the money you paid to Social Security through years of working and them deducting your check, you can look at that amount, and you can also look at the total amount you were paid that, you know, was taxed your whole working life on their website. It goes back as far as and as long as you've been working. Because money without education is not always freedom. Sometimes it is just temptation with commas. And the scary part is emergencies do not care whether you're ready. A tire blows, a tooth cracks, a child gets sick, jobs cut hours, a hurricane comes, a pipe bursts, car battery dies. And if you already are financially fragile, one unexpected expense can become a chain reaction. So yes, wealth matters. Education determines whether wealth becomes stability or a temporary costume. And there are free resources people walk past every day. And it's because it's based off the life that they raised in and the things that's popular, you know, majority rules. So I definitely understand it. It's like y'all hearing emotion and intellect at the same time. Because it's like the intellect is like, but they're wrong. But the emotion is like, but I definitely understand. But it's not really a right or wrong thing. And that's what make people freeze and then begin to create a mental and emotional legal battle where they gotta have eyewitnesses and a prosecutor to prove that they're innocent in the situation. And that takes away so much time from them either learning from the person presenting this to them and actually bringing them to the red table and saying, well, hey, you know, you telling me this feels like criticism. What areas of opportunity do you see that I'm strong in since you criticizing me? That's why for me, as my time as manager, shift manager, you know, 12 shepherds in the manger, I always made sure to lead with what the person was doing well, because all too often people only know what they're doing wrong. They're always being told you're wrong. But when the person right is silence, and us humans, attention is associated with a lot of our memories. So if we see something and historically it got us ignored, if we still try to get in the future, we're going to be desperate to do it and do it in different ways to catch people attention. So, and again, I'm not licensed. I'm a regular person. If anything, I'm not a doctor because I'm a patient with patience. As a taxpaying citizen, you are already VIP at the library. Public libraries are not just bookshelves anymore. They have, I said that in the last video, but what if the person here just watched for the first time? Then I'd say, hello, lad. And that's it, because I don't say anything else, because this is not a conventional content creation channel. They have books, audiobooks, ebooks, internet access, classes, jobs, search resources, databases, community events, and sometimes even help with resumes, technology, and career tools. All those famous books people talk about online, many of them are sitting in the library for free, or Ollie's, the bargain shop, for sale, or at Dollar Tree in the overstock section for $1.25. You can gain knowledge and save money. That is a blessing people overlook because it does not come with a flashy ad and a limited time offer. If you are looking for enjoyment, check your local workforce centers or American job centers. Many places help with job searches, resumes, training programs, and career changes and enjoyment resources. And financial institutions have tools people ignore too. I wonder if I could change the camera now, because you got it moving slow. Oh yeah, let me do it. Oh, let's do it. Is it gonna speed up? Do I have too many windows open? I don't know. Because I don't know if it's gonna show that when the video come at the little skips it do, like if I'm live. Your bank or credit union may offer budgeting tools, credit score access, spending breakdowns, saving goals, fraud alerts, financial education, home buyer resources, debt payoff calculators, and workshop. The average consumer misses resources they already have access to because they are either too distracted, too embarrassed, or too proud to use them. Or there's many more options because, you know, I'm not Father Time, so I can't give you every single scenario that ever existed. However, I will say that if a person is not familiar with finances, seeing all of those different words means nothing to them. That is like someone sending you an ad to fly a astronaut shuttle, like a job for an astronaut shuttle. That has nothing to do with you, so you're more than likely not going to open it. Or if you do read it, maybe you are a reader, like some people are a eater. You might read the thing in interest to see what it describes, but you're not going to interact with it. And that's what happens when people are in environments where things are unfamiliar. Some people have curiosity. Some people know that they don't know what it is, and they think that it's safer to just continue. And, you know, people actions are based off of the way they view the world, which is the view that they inherited based off the people who raised them. But not knowing is not the enemy. Refusing to learn is the enemy. Because we don't need brains to have all these different features like Bluetooth and AirPlay and, you know, voice and remote viewing and all of that other stuff. Some people would rather look successful than become stable. They would rather finance the appearance of wealth than quietly build the foundation of it. Another pushback is shame. People feel embarrassed that they do not know something, but no one comes out the womb understanding credit utilization, compound interest, insurance deductibles, home inspections, tax strategies, contracts, and retirement accounts. You learn. That is the point. Another pushback is impatience. People want wealth in microwave time. They usually want wealth, but it builds in crockpot time. An emergency fund may take months. Paying off debt may take years. 12 years of credit slave. Rebuilding credit may take months or years. Building investment wealth usually takes decades. So that means you would be paying your credit off from the 99s to the 2000s and beyond. Buying a home may take years of income stability, savings, credit improvement, and debt management. But they also have some scam realtors that's buying flip houses that's not even really flip. They just paint it with a lace front. And they're foregoing the fact that people are having income stability, savings, credit improvement, and debt management, because what ends up happening is that person, well, I'm gonna have to pause, get some water, but I tried to hold on. It's blinding me. That is why I've been squinting most of the video. Building a business can take years before it becomes consistently profitable. Learning new skills can take months before you're employable and years before you are excellent. This is not punishment. This is reality. The problem is not that wealth takes time. The problem is that society keeps selling people shortcuts. Get rich quick, lose weight, heal, go viral, manifest, flip this, trade that, and buy my course quick. Then people feel like failures when their real life does not move at scam speed. Patience is not laziness. Patience is emotional maturity under a long timeline. A long, long time coming. And I know change gonna come. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is how you stop being at the mercy of every mood, trend, emergency, and salesperson. Especially if you're one of those people who's so kind that every time someone says excuse me, even though it's obvious that they're peddling something, selling something, you know, you stop, even though you know you're not interested. Like, another major issue is that many people focus so much on lack in their life that their accomplishments fall to the back. Yes, your issues deserve attention. Your improvements deserve attention. Your problems matter, but do not let lack become the whole meal. Lack is the appetizer. The entree is what is being done. what habit is changing, what bill is being handled, what skill is being learned, what boundary is set, what body signal is being respected, what help is being requested, what resource is being used, what old pattern is being interrupted. Because when people focus only on what is missing, life can become an unfillable void. No matter what they accomplish, there is always more, and eventually burnout sets in. Some people are functionally burnt out. Some people are living with functional depression. They have normalized forcing themselves through shutdowns with caffeine, alcohol, stimulants, chaos, or adrenaline. They go further into overdraft. Then, when the effects of their whatever they're using wears off, they crash even harder. Then they overcompensate. More coffee, scrolling, shopping, drinking, working, pretending. And now it is cute to say you need 5 cups of coffee to function, as if your body is not waving a white flag from inside a blinged out Stanley cup. The people should give energy to, not chase, but give energy to, are health, peace, wisdom, and stability. Health is more important than money. There are wealthy people with conditions money cannot fix. There are wealthy people heartbroken, grieving, lonely, arguing online for their reputation. There are wealthy people doing rage bait because attention becomes oxygen. There are wealthy people surrounded by luxury, but still starving emotionally. So when the public says they're rich, they'll be fine, that is emotional ignorance. Money does not give people superhuman strength. A heartbreak still hurts. A family loss still hurts. Criticism can still affect the person, even though it's crazy because the person that be criticizing, never mind. Loneliness can still sit in a mansion. Grief can still ride in a luxury car. Speaking of loneliness, they had Where Are They Now story about one of the lottery Brittany Renner, winners who who basically take care of everybody in his life and have them at his house every day, and they have access to his house when he not even there. Yeah. So he was so lonely that he's willing to be used just to be have company. And he said it in so many words in the video, but it was kind of like you had to be there or have been there before to kind of know that that's what he meant. But you could see it, especially when he was answering certain questions. He was deadpan answering them, and people was laughing. Nobody, the man was serious. Hopefully he keep money coming in, because that'll be a sad end. The real goal is to build a life you can actually live inside. A lot of wise people throughout history lived simple lives, but their wealth of knowledge is still funding society generations later. So long to have loan. So learn to have both. Have the trophy and the horse. Have the achievement and the life that can hold it. Have the money and the wisdom. Have the relationship and the emotional maturity. Have the house and the peace inside it. Have the career and the nervous system that can survive responsibility. Have the platform and the humility to not let attention turn you into a character. Have the ambition and quiet porch. Have the grind and avoid this and the sunset. Have the dream and the body healthy enough to enjoy it. Because what is the point of winning if you become too sick, bitter, paranoid, exhausted, or disconnected to feel a blessing? One of the biggest things wealth does not buy is inner security. If you can heal your inner self and develop a love that is safe, steady, and a brick wall to bad actors, you may find that a lot of other things become less urgent. Once you disconnect from endless wants and start focusing on real needs, you may lose interest in things you're chasing. You may realize you do not want the big house. You wanted safety. You may realize you do not want the designer label. You wanted respect. RESPECT. You may realize you do not want fame. You want to be seen. I know you see me. You may realize you do not want constant intimacy. You wanted comfort. You may realize you do not want to be rich just to spend. You wanted freedom to freedom. And that is when the cage starts to open. Also, look at the people who raised you, the people who you grew up around, and the environments that shaped you. Make sure you're not blindly repeating their mistakes. Some people inherit money habits, relationship habits, emotional avoidance. Some people inherit chaos and call it normal. Just another day. See how to turn his, because that in this angle got my eyes looking red right here, but they not. See, shine bright like a diamond. You are allowed to ask questions to the blueprint. You are allowed to build differently. You are allowed to outgrow old patterns without hating people who taught them to you. This spring, do not just clean your closet, clean your nervous system, your schedule, spending habits, environment, relationships, phone, especially if you bring it in the restroom with you. It's probably swimming in fecal matter. Clear your idea of success. Ask yourself, what am I chasing? Why am I chasing it? Who taught me to want it? What do I think will fix it? What still needs attention after I get it? Am I stability or performing success? Am I focused only on luck, or am I focused on what is being done? Because getting what you want, oh, never mind. That was the rest of the questions. Because getting what you want is not the finish line. It is a checkpoint. Checkpoint. After the win, you still have a body, a new body. Ain't no miles on that their new body. And after the win, you still have habits. You still have relationships. You still have fears. You still have a nervous system. You still have to live with yourself. So yes, chase goals, build wealth, improve your life, learn more, do more, grow more. And if it's safe, hold more. You never know. But do not forget to become someone who can actually enjoy what you're building. Build a castle. Do you want to build a snowman? The saddest thing is finally getting more and realizing you never learned how to feel full. Have the trophy, have the horse, but please, please, please have a peaceful pasture too, because success without peace is just a prettier form of survival. And you are a survival. You will not give up. You will not stop. You will work hard. Toodles.
Like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.